Good morning, everyone. My name is Zane, and I am from 5th grade. Before I share my topic for today, let me ask this question. Has anyone here watched my speech related to stepping out of your comfort zone and into success? I've asked that today because I will talk about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, while also answering the question, which is more important, success or failure? Now that you have stepped out of your comfort zone, have you ever failed at something and felt like giving up? Maybe you didn't do well on a test, lost a competition, or tried something new that didn't work out. When that happens, it can feel like failure is the end of everything. But what if that failure can actually lead us to success? Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. And the Wright brothers invented and built the first successful powered airplane. These are only a few examples of very successful inventions in the world. But what many people don't realize is that all of these inventions developed from failure. Let's take Thomas Edison, for example. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." For Edison, a failed experiment was not the end. He viewed it as a step towards success rather than a step back. Let's talk about mindsets. Mindsets are really important in our lives. It affects how we think and respond to different situations. There are many different types of mindsets in the world, but today we are only learning and focusing on the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. So, what is a fixed mindset? A fixed mindset is when we believe our abilities cannot change or improve, so we sometimes don't try or give effort to do more. For example, we might say, "I'm not good enough in this subject," or "I'm not good enough anyway, so I won't bother trying." Having this mindset can affect how we think and improve because we put our mindsets into thinking there is no point in doing or giving more effort. But what about a growth mindset? A growth mindset, on the other hand, is the psychological concept developed by Carol Dweck. It is the belief that abilities, talents, and skills can be improved through dedication and hard work with the willingness to learn. So now that we know the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset is, how do these mindsets actually connect to both success and failure? Let's break it down. Let's start with failure. Failure is the act of not succeeding or achieving a goal. It's something no one wants to happen in their lives, but does that mean failure is bad? Well, not entirely. Yes, we have all failed at least once before, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world, right? Well, we can actually learn from failure. It helps us realize our mistakes, make better choices, understand more, and eventually lead us to the right path to success. This is when we use a growth mindset. Having a growth mindset during failure is a great way to help ourselves improve and grow. But accepting failure is easier said than done. Many people struggle with this, getting discouraged, or can't handle it. Personally, I myself have trouble overcoming this. I don't take my failures lightly. I remember when, back in 4th grade, I first started playing the violin. I couldn't even hold the violin correctly, let alone play it. And the sound that would always come out was always unpleasant because I was either pressing on the bow with my on the strings with my bow too hard or not hard enough. However, I didn't give up. I was determined to learn how to play the violin. I failed and failed plenty of times, but along the way, I realized my mistakes. I gradually improved, and with the help of my teachers and supportive parents, I can now play more than 3 songs. This is an example of where I learned how to develop a growth mindset, and so can you. How do you ask? Well, we can start by thinking differently. Thinking that challenges are just new chances to learn. Start thinking that competitions are just new ways to unlock a specific skill. Start viewing criticism as feedback to do better. Failure means we're still learning and growing, not getting worse. But what about success? Success is when we have already grown. It's the result of our hard work and effort. It doesn't just happen, we have to work for it. As Wayne Johnson once said, success isn't always about greatness, it's about consistency. Consistent hard work leads to success. Greatness will come. But going beyond success can be hard sometimes. Usually, our focus shifts from what caused our success to its benefits. One way we can achieve this problem is through using the success as a way to improve and grow. We need that growth mindset to motivate ourselves to keep going. Use success as a stepping stone, not the final destination. Success can mean differently to others. You can ask yourself, what does success look like for me? Maybe it's something personal like spending time with your family, leveling up your careers, or succeeding in school. Let me give you an example of a person who has dealt with failure and success during their career. Manny Pacquiao. He is a professional Filipino fighter who has won 12 major titles in 8 weight divisions. He fought his way up to success, facing many challenges along the way. One challenge in particular was being beaten by Juan Manuel Marquez back in 2012 through a knockout. This was an important event because the two had been experiencing strong rivalries. Pacquiao, however, didn't give up after that. He chose to move on and continue with his career. He didn't hold a grudge and instead wanted to learn from his mistakes. He never once doubted himself when he came back after that. We need to expect that we don't always succeed in everything we do. There will be a time where we will fail, but it's part of the journey to success. So today, I challenge you to embrace a growth mindset whenever you experience either success or failure. Remember, success and failure are always related. They are both part of our daily lives. Failure helps us grow and growth leads to success. But which is more important? It is developing a growth mindset. It's this continuous process of embracing challenges and learning from failure. It's the mindset that helps us unlock our potential and achieve our goals so that we could be successful in our own way. So the next time you fail, remember, you're not falling behind. You are learning. And maybe just like Thomas Edison, every failure is bringing you one step closer to success. Thank you.